All right, well, welcome to the September 19th Robert Down Elementary Site Council. We have Eric Bell and Tally Helfont present. Hopefully some other individuals will be joining us because we have some elections to go through today. And one of them is to select a new chairperson. So we will hopefully get some more people joining, and we will be able to officially have minutes and be able to take action today. I'm not sure if we have enough people to do any actions today. But thank you, Eric, for being here. And I'll just kind of play the role of chairperson for the time being. Are there any comments from the public in general? Any comments in general from any members that are on with us this morning or this afternoon? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. I think I skipped the approval of it. Officially, it wasn't really anything to approve, but I just wanted to show people how we approved the previous minutes. So we had an informational meeting in August to explain what site council was all about. And we had a pretty good showing, more people there than here, unfortunately. And do I have an approval for the minutes for August 29th informational meeting? Okay. So Tally, sorry, let me try to get my chat. There's the chat button. Okay, so we have to take a motion. It needs to be seconded, and then we vote to approve. So do I have a first motion to approve the informational meeting minutes?
Aye.
And a second?
Second.
All right. So first motion by Eric Bell, seconded by Tally Helfont. And discussion? Okay. So those approve, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Those that do not approve, say nay. Okay, motion passes. Okay. All right, so moving on. Again, I just kind of want to do a quick review of the site council's role and see if there are any questions about the bylaws or any information from the state. Are there any questions about the site council's roles and responsibilities for the year? Okay. So I guess we can have just a general conversation with the people that are present. I'm going to go ahead and repost the link as well for the agenda. There you go. And for the people that are present, since we have so few, and I'll have to talk to my staff members who signed up for site council to find out what was going on, why they weren't here today. Is there anyone who would like to be site council chair? And last year, I believe Patty Bloomer was our vice chair. Eric was our secretary. And Eric, if you would like to continue that role, we really don't need to have a vote today because that's a 2-year role.
That's what I figured.
Okay. And Laura Ottmar is here. She was the parliamentarian, but I know she's running for school board. So her parliamentarianism is up in the air. until that election is completed. So we are looking for sure for a chairperson, and I can talk to Patty, can text her right now and see what's going on, see if she'll be joining us. But is there anyone here that would like to be the Robert Downs Site Council chair? Are there any people who'd like to co-chair it this year?
This is Laura Ottmar talking. Well, I don't know, are we allowed to nominate anybody even if they're not nominating themselves?
Yes, you can. They don't have to accept.
Tally, I want to nominate you because you were vice chair last year, and then because of bylaws had to allow Patty to take that. And I just think that you would be magnificent as a chair. So if you would accept it, I'd like to nominate you.
Thanks, Laura. That's really nice. I think I'm gonna have to decline because honestly, even attending site council is turned into such a stressful thing to balance with work. Like I'm supposed to be working right now, but I committed for 2 years, so I'm gonna do it for 2 years, but I just can't take on the extra responsibility. So I'm gonna be as supportive as I can, as active as I can, but I don't wanna take on a leadership role if I can't give 110%. But thank you for saying that.
Thank you both. I'll say again that last year was different. I think I mentioned it right at the beginning with the amount of people that were responding to site council and wanting to take part in it, which I think was fantastic. Again, it was the first time ever in all of my experience in education that there was more than 2 or 3 parents who were interested. So that was fantastic. In the past, and probably Heloisa can, if you are able to chime in on this, it wasn't, I mean, I personally, as the principal, tried to do the site council agendas every time, and the chairperson really just tried to lead conversations. Yeah, and actually, I think 1 year I was the chairperson because nobody would do it, which I want to try to avoid. Being the principal, I much would rather have that seat be held by a parent, because I feel it's important for parents to feel like they have a say. And being the principal, I will be a part of this site council regardless, and kind of play that role that Dr. Forrest plays in just trying to advise and move forward, take action and help the school become the best school it can be. So again, Heloisa, I'm not sure if you are able to discuss your role in the past, and if you felt like it was too stressful coming to these meetings and sharing your ideas.
Hi. When I was on a different work schedule, it was pretty hard because that's when I would be getting off work, and some days I didn't make it to the meeting. Now I don't work on Mondays, so it's just a matter of picking the kids up from different schools, and so not every parent was able to attend every time, but it was very consistent. Like the parents who did attend, it was always like some of us always from the big group. There was always the same people, missing 1 or 2 people at a time, and sometimes everybody was there.
All right, well, thank you. I will say this too, again, my first year that I was here, I want to say Sarah, trying to think if it was her, if she and Elliot Hazen shared the chairperson role, and that's doable, that you could do that. But we definitely need to have a chair. The person basically tries to lead the meetings as best he or she can, and they are the person that signs the site plan or SIPSA with myself, along with the other groups. We will ask Chantel Caparetta to have the EL parents look over the plan, And any other groups like Patty Bloomer, I liked having her on the site council, having a special education voice in matters. Yeah, and we can, whatever group we want to have look at the plan. I believe I had my leadership team, the lead there, signed off on the plan last year. So yeah, again, it's our committee. It could be this committee, the people that are here right now. But we do need people to take on titles and in order to hold meetings. And I definitely need to find out from my staff who is going to participate, because we do need to have staff input. We can't have just me, running the show. We need to have a lot of voices. So
I could co-chair. I can promise that I'll be at every meeting. That's why I think we need 2 people, but I can co-chair. I think I've been around long enough that I know the drill.
okay. Is there anyone willing to share that responsibility with Eloisa?
This is Laura Ottmar. I would like to, but I think I'd be limited just because of running for the board. So, I can't say that I would be committed after December, depending on the election results. So I don't want to partial commit,
Well,
but
and
if,
just so you know,
if there's not another co-chair.
Okay, thank you. Well, again, the rule is once somebody who is on site council is elected to the Board of Education, you need to resign that site council position.
So I just wouldn't want to get us in a position where I'm committing and then have to step away if,
No, I completely understand. But it's been done before. So again, you think about the majority of the trustees that are on the board, I would say, like I said, the majority of them have served on the site council so they can have an idea about what's going on once they get to the board, right? Okay, so Patty's going to join us. Hopefully she'll be willing to be the vice chair again. So again, we just need to know, and Eloisa, we could approve with the understanding that you're looking for somebody else to join you.
Correct.
Hello,
thank you, Patty. Welcome. So Patty, what we've been talking about is the roles, the site council executive, committee, and
yes.
the chairperson, vice chairperson, which you are currently the chairperson. You were elected last year, and this would continue into this year as well.
Yes.
Eric is the secretary, and Laura is currently the parliamentarian.
Okay.
So we were just looking for a chairperson, and Eloisa offered to do that, but she wanted to have someone co-chair it with her.
Can I do both?
I'm sorry?
Can I do that with her?
Yeah. Again, I don't know, officially if we'd have the 2 of you become co-chair people and then not have a vice chair, because usually that the vice chair takes over for the chair when he or she are not present.
Okay.
So I don't know if we wrote that little scenario into our bylaws, but I think it's personally completely acceptable if we want to do that, and we can discuss that right now. Does anyone have any concerns if Patty and Eloisa were to play those roles this year?
I support Tally.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other thoughts?
I support, this is Laura. I know that we did not write that into our bylaws, so it may be something that we just want to add in.
Okay.
You know, especially for future years.
Right. Okay. So if there are no other concerns, based on our conversation and with people continuing their position from last year, I would like to motion that, and Heloisa, please help me if I say your last name incorrectly. I motion that Heloisa Junqueira, am I saying it correctly?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's good. Okay, Heloisa Junqueira and Patty Bloomer be elected our chair people for the year, that we leave the vice chairperson role empty until we have somebody that wants to fill that Eric Bell continue his role as secretary, and that Laura Ottmar continue her role until the board election is over and it's determined whether or not she can continue that role, or if she would like to do another role if not elected as a trustee. Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll
Can I-
second.
Okay, Chelsea Hoover seconds. Is there any discussion? Okay,
Doesn't look like it.
I'll make sure I'm getting this all in there. So this is our actually first vote of the year. Okay, so again, motion by Sean Keller, seconded by Chelsea Hoover, and there was no discussion. And all approve, say aye.
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 Okay, and I'll I need to get the lingo down again. It's been a long time. Those who are opposed.
I'm going to need a lot of help with the lingo if I'm chair. Yeah.
Okay. Every new chairperson does. Don't worry about it, Louisa. Okay, so we have 2, 4. We have 7-0 vote approved. All right. Okay, so the action is approved. Okay. So thank you very much to Patty and Heloisa for leading us for this year. And Chelsea, I would just ask, I know you're kind of playing both roles in PTA and site council, but you know, after the election, if there's something that we can have you do, I think that would be great. And of course, I'll need to find another staff member to join us, at least maybe 1 or 2 more, to make sure that we have a quorum and that we can move on and make sure that whatever we decide is legal. So quorum is one of those lingos right there. So get ready to use that kind of stuff, Patty and Heloisa. Okay, so if you have I'll continue to just kind of play this role, if that's okay with everyone today, to kind of lead everybody through. We do have some discussion items to go through, and that is, you know, basically our goals for the year through the SIPSA plan. I discussed them with during that last meeting, went through them at length, and there is a recording of that meeting if you need to go through that again to kind of be reminded. But the SIPSA is there. There's a link to the SIPSA that was sent out in this invite. And I'm pretty sure I have a SIPSA link in this agenda, but if not, I'll definitely try to get that in there before we go. And actually, it's right there. If you go underneath the RHD 2022-2023 single plan for student achievement, that's what SIPSA means. If you hover over it, a PDF will show up, so you can check that out. But I just wanted to, again, ask if there's any questions that people might have. I can give some updates of things that happened recently or within the last month or so, but I definitely want to open up for any questions or concerns or something that you would like to see added to this plan if it's not present right now. Okay. So I know you might be looking over everything, but I just want to go to goal 1, which is our school culture goal. And I'm actually going to this one here. Just kind of give you an update of things that have happened. I just need to have a meeting with our 5th graders because we have started the Blue Jackets and we have the Garden Ranger aprons, but they just need to get organized. So again, with me venturing off to Hawaii and everything, things have kind of slowed down. I needed to catch up. So we're going to get that going. For Lego Robotics, myself and Mr. Villagomez met last Friday. We bought our competition kit for one team, and we're trying to determine whether or not we're going to have a second team. I created a Google form today, and that will be going out to all parents and guardians to try to give us specific names and days and times that people are available for various roles throughout the campus. Of course, that's for Lego Club, like we did last year. If your kids were involved with that, if they were primary, they basically went, we threw Legos on a table and they just had fun every week. And we want to continue doing that. What we found out last year is it was a little stressful because of how many bodies were in the cafeteria. So we want to make those a little bit more intimate so they could possibly occur in classrooms. And we want to have very short sessions up to about 6 weeks. So again, I just need to know which parents are available at what grade levels, and then we'll be able to organize those sessions throughout the year. So if you have a student who is interested in primary Lego Club, they may not be in it for the entire year. It may be for 1 or 2 sessions, depending on how many students want to sign up. And we'll see how that plays out. It's just kind of an idea to kind of change things up a little bit. The other groups we have for Lego are 4th grade, and I bought $3,000 worth of STEM Legos last year, and I want to have that focus in on 4th grade to kind of get those kids ready for the competition level for 5th grade. So this year, again, we haven't had a competitive team ever at Robert Down, but when we started Lego Robotics a few years ago, we had a team together of 5th graders only, and it was better in the sense that the kids were more mature, and being at their last year, a lot of parents stepped up to help out. So I'm hoping that'll be the same for 5th graders. And Mr. Villagomez has dedicated his time. I'm hoping to get a stipend for him, much like they provide at the high school, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So I might have to pay him out of site funds for his extra hours after school and or on the weekends. So I just want to make that clear to the site council, because that will mean I'll have to readjust some monies in our site budget, and the site council is in charge of the site budget. Okay. So that's Lego Club. The other things that I'm going to put in that Google form are parents or guardians that want to help out before school, whether it be at drop-off to help monitor cars coming in, because I still see cars coming in, they're parking, parents are coming out, they're wasting time, they're getting out, they're letting their kids out of the car, and or they're walking a kid to a gate. So that's wasting time. It's it's clogging up the flow of traffic that needs to occur. So we need to have an adult there to wave people on in a yellow jacket saying, you need to keep going. I'll help your kid get out. They're fine. They're going to be safe. They're going to walk to the gate and they're going to go inside at least until it's 8:30. So that's another role. Help having playground monitors and gate monitors in the morning as well. So we can let kids play for about 10 minutes and get some wiggles out. But I just need more adults on campus. And then gate monitors after school as well. So again, right as I was starting this meeting, we had a student who we weren't sure where her location was. She was picked up by a family friend, but the sibling was in BASRP. So we wanted to ensure that the kids were safe. By having the gate monitors, it just answers questions faster because we have radios and we're able to communicate and people are able to tell us, hey, this is where this kid went. This is where this kid is located. Eloisa.
Would it help like if we created a spreadsheet that people could edit and people can sign up for certain days and do it? Because like I'm thinking, for example, I can do it some days. And then some day, it's usually on a short notice, like, okay, today I got out of the house early, I already dropped my kid at the high school. I can do it at over down today, but it's hard to make a, like every week I'll be available, whatever, at a certain time. So do you think it's a good idea if we had like a Google sheet where people can sign up for certain days, certain times, so at least we know who's coming or that all days are covered?
Yeah, so if you've worked with Google Forms, at the end of each survey or form, it automatically is populated into a Google spreadsheet. So we'll have that information. What we'll know at the beginning after this form is sent out to parents and guardians is who's available. So after we know that, then I'll be able to post some meetings, whether they're live or whether they're virtual, with people that want to participate. For everybody that wants to participate in the morning, I will have to provide them the safety training that I give all staff, because they need to know how to use the radio. They need to know how to put the radio back. They need to know how to use the radio in general. So they're not pressing the all campus emergency button and sending off everybody into oh my gosh, something's happening right now. They need to understand that they need to wear a yellow jacket. They need to understand a lot of stuff. So there's things that I will still need to work with parents and guardians about. And once I have their names, then I'll be able to get them together to do some training and move forward. So, but your suggestion of being able to advertise that, as long as everybody's okay with having something available online with their name on it and possibly their contact email, if they're okay with it, I'm perfectly fine advertising that. And so people would know who's available on such and such day and if they are needed a particular day or hour for a gate or playtime. Do you have any other comments for that, Eloisa?
I was thinking like maybe even like a who's available to, like, you can put the day that they're available and a different day to, like, you can be backup or whatever, in case a person can't go or whatever. So we always have at least 2 people for each designated place.
Okay.
It sounds like you're talking more of like a sign up genie though, right? Of like people signing up for a particular time, because some might be able to say that they're available on Mondays, but maybe not every Monday morning. But if they could go into Sign Up Genie and sign up for 2 Mondays, I just wonder if you'd get more people offering to help if they could sign up for,
I think that's a great idea. Like we create a huge Sign Up Genius, for we just open it up to all the school days for months, and then people sign up for whatever day they can. I think that's more doable than having somebody commit to the same date and time every week.
Right. The only piece is that people would have to be trained, though, is what Keller.
The downside is that people would have to be training. So, I mean, if you are going to put your name at the sign up genius, then you would have to commit to getting trained. That
Yeah.
Well, and what, at least from what I understand from our human resources department, if I can get people who are dedicated, then I can pay them. They just would need to be willing to turn their paperwork into human resources and become an employee. Obviously, that makes it a little bit more of a commitment that they need to be there because they are paid. And that is an option for at least the gate people in the morning. Not the playground, but for the gate. And I think for after school as well, because that's all about the monies we received for COVID. Sorry. I'm so sorry. But the other piece too, Eloise, is I can't have, in order to offer the playtime in the morning, I have to have dedicated people. So I have to know who's coming. If I don't have enough people, I can't allow the kids to play in the morning. I have to know that there will be eyes out there, because if I have a meeting.
I didn't get any of them.
Go ahead.
Delivered.
Someone needs to mute their
That's all right.
microphone, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I need to have a dedicated crew, especially for the morning. So I can say, yeah, go play. And I know that adults will be there to put the kids where they need to be and line up right to go inside. Because if I'm called to a meeting in the morning, I need to know that the kids are going to get into the classroom, everything's safe, everything's a well-oiled machine before the day can start. So Chelsea, I know you've used some sign-up programs for PTA. Is it Sign Up Genius or?
Yeah, we have Sign Up Genius. We have an account with them. It's not a paid account, so it has advertisements on it, but that is something that I think we could use. I think the PTA could supply that.
So the end result of that, does that come out in an Excel spreadsheet, or is it just a list of who signed up for what? Chelsea, I asked for the Sign Up Genius. Does it come out in an Excel spreadsheet, or is it just you have to print from the website?
Yeah, sorry, my internet cut out for a second. No, it does not come out as an Excel spreadsheet, as far as I know. I think we would just have to see.
Okay.
Look at the website.
Okay. All right.
Do you think if people signed up in a Sign Up Genius, that way you wouldn't have to pay them? It would be a voluntary thing. That's not enough commitment, you don't think? Like, do you think people will just forget about their commitment, or?
Well, it's just with volunteers, they are saying that they'll be there, but they don't have to be. Mm-hmm. And as much as I want to trust that it'll be covered 100% of the time, I just know that even with employees, I don't have it all the time covered. There's a teacher who will call in sick because of COVID, or not that it's their fault, but there's an emergency in their family and they can't come in, or I don't have a noon duty person coming in. So I know those things just happen. I think they'd happen just more frequently with volunteers. So again, that's the only piece I'm talking about, is just that before school piece. For the clubs and everything, if they can't happen, last year, there were times they couldn't happen because the parents couldn't come. So I said, I'm really sorry, but we have to cancel. And those things occur. And everyone needs to understand that. With volunteers, everybody has a life and they have family, and families first. So I just wanted to share what I'm going to put in the form. And right now, again, I don't have specific days because I don't know when the parents are available. So once I know when the parents are available, at least the key ones that are willing to kind of help lead it, then we can send out something with specific days for backup. And I'm hoping that those parents can then take over and organize and make sure that people will be present for those sessions, whether it be Legos or drama if they're helping out Sean or what have you. I need that to go to other people. I can't do that as the principal. It was too difficult for me to do just the Lego club things last year in the spring. I just couldn't do it. I'm too busy. Okay. So just wanted to share that piece for the first goal. Those are things that are happening. The CSUMB students have contacted me. Again, that's another role I'd love to give to somebody else and delegate, but they need a contact on a campus and I'm the person. So I'm hoping they will help with either Lego Club, the STEM Club, or the Lego competition team. And I have connected them with Mr. Villagomez. And I'm also hoping that we can get more parents involved with Site Council, because again, I want to make sure that we have a survey for this year. And we need to have that survey completed for students, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grades, for staff, and for parents. And that's beyond the Healthy Kids survey that the 5th grade students take, the teachers and staff take, and the parents take, or parents and guardians. So if trying to create a survey is kind of down your purview, if that's something that you would like to help with, I'd like to get some dedicated people to get that going and coming to us and saying, okay, this is what we worked on. And because again, trying to do it as a site council, it seems like we just have too much to discuss and not enough time to create a survey. So I was hoping people could do that offline and bring us their ideas and we can either approve it or not and move forward. But I'm hoping we can get that done 100% by November. Okay, for social emotional goal 2, so far we really haven't had any lunch clubs start up officially. I have some people signed up through our adjunct duty that are going to run a few clubs. We have the garden club going. That's 100% occurring every Tuesday and Thursday. It's really open to any 3rd, 4th, or 5th grader at this point. And Carrie Gaylor, our garden coordinator, is running those. We definitely have the Healthy Kids survey organized. It will occur the week before Thanksgiving, when we go to Thanksgiving break. And again, I'm hoping that our site survey will occur during that time as well. We have the celebration of dance organized and set for April 28th. That will kind of take over for the spring dance. So we'll have dances from around the world during that time. Also in the survey, I will have the opportunity for parents to sign up to organize the diversity family nights that the site council would like to have take place this year. So I'm hoping people will dedicate themselves. Again, we don't have any dates set, but once those parents commit, then we can meet and talk about some dates. Just so you know, Forest Grove is looking to do something very similar. So we could do it with Forest Grove, and we could hold one at one campus in the fall and one at one campus in the spring, if that's what we would like to do. Eloisa.
Is that the same thing that the PTA is already gathering volunteers for, the multicultural night? Or is that a different event?
No, it's could be. If PTA is taking this over, that's awesome.
Yeah, so Lucy already sent out an email.
Okay.
So it's myself and another parent that I can't remember the name right now. We're gonna start talking about it after the Halloween party.
Okay.
But I think the idea is to have a multicultural night, and like just the very beginnings of the planning is hold on, I'm parked now. The very beginning of the plan is to have each grade be responsible for a continent, and we would split the 3 Americas between 4th and 5th grade so we could get to the appropriate numbers. And then they would have to come up, you know, with decoration and food and games and things from each continent. And it just depends on how much time and money and involvement we want. You know, if you really want to make this like a fundraising event and sell food, or do we just want to have, you know, little bites for fun for people who want to try food from another country? So that's all, like, it's just ideas thrown out there for now.
Okay, that's great. That's really nice to hear. So I will. And then, well, do you want me? Sorry, do you want me to put it into the form that I'm throwing out there just for support?
Yes.
Okay. So
that would be great. You know, that would be great to find out if, because I'm from Brazil, so of course I can help with whoever gets South America, and I know other families from South America that go to Robert Down, but it would be nice to have families from other continents helping, you know, yeah, and just so one, the front of the school is now decorated with Hispanic Heritage Month. So if you guys haven't seen it, just stop by and ask your kids to stop by.
Yeah, that's the lobby. Thank you so much for doing that, Eloisa.
Right.
Okay. Also, we are this close to ordering the art in action for all the classrooms. We asked every grade level to let us know whether or not they want there's 2 different kind of material packs, and one has everything and one kind of has a little bit of the information or the material. So I've asked for that from all the grade levels, and I think they all got back to me. Once that happens, then we'll be able to send that out, get a quote, and get that ordered. So that those monies have been approved, I think. And because it was a special grant from the state, and I'm really hoping that the district will cover it sooner than when the state will provide the monies to the district, if you understand what I'm saying. So I'll just have to work with the district office because they asked me to take my request from one grant and move it toward another. It was a one-time fund thing either way. And I just hope that the source of money that they asked me to move it to is available, because they told me the other grant isn't ready until October. So regardless, we're going to get art in action available for all the kids. So that should be really nice. And then lastly, I don't know if you saw my principal's update last week. I received some concerns from at least 2 parents that read an article about MAP testing throughout the nation. And so I decided to share the overall grade scores for Robert Down. And again, for at least the MAP, we're doing really, really well. And according to the SBAC, which was last year's 3rd, 4th, and 5th grades, those scores were overall pretty good as well. So there are no huge red flags out there. And the good thing for kids that need help and are showing concern, we have the staff to provide them the support they need right now. So no major issues on that end. And there is a link there. I did share it out in the principal update as well. Just wanted to get some feedback from site council about this, because we are looking to change our student support team, or SST, process. And it was due to some parents coming back to us during meetings saying, why are we here? I didn't hear anything about what the SST stands for. I don't understand why you called me to this meeting. And so I wanted to make sure our staff were very clear with parents when they have a concern about a student, and that parents understand that we look at students for both academic and behavioral or SEL concerns, or social emotional learning concerns, or basically mental health. We want to make sure kids are okay. We want to look at students as a whole child, and we want to make sure that they get the support they need, regardless of whatever they might need in order to succeed. So if you don't mind clicking on that link, it is available through the district website under the parent menu. And it's basically information that explains what an SST is all about. And then it has some frequently asked questions or FAQs. So if you could please look at that real quick, give you about a minute or so. And if you can please give me some feedback about what you think, if there's anything we need to add to that link. Okay, so are there any questions about that document? This was something we were hoping would answer a lot of questions from parents. Do you think it's informative enough, or do you still have any questions about what an SST is all about?
Looks good to me.
Patty, from your end, from a special education standpoint?
Well, when I saw the question about if my child has an IEP or a Section 504, I mean, I guess for some, they might be like, what is that? And so defining what that is, and does this meeting mean that your child needs to have an IEP or needs a Section 504 plan? And so I guess maybe with defining what those two are, and does it mean by having an SST meeting, your child's on a path that they're going to need or require an IEP or Section 504? Might be something good to add in that.
Thank you. And just for parents that might be listening in or to the recording after this meeting, to answer that question and be very clear, an SST doesn't mean that your child will have a 504 or IEP. It, again, is just the first step. It is a general education step out of concerns. And what Mrs. Bloomer was talking about for a 504 or an IEP, that's when students have definitely been identified with a need that has been diagnosed by a doctor. We do not diagnose here at the school level, but it's been diagnosed by a doctor. It's been confirmed between the school and the primary care physician, and or it raises to the level of having to be assessed by parent request, where students are assessed academically or behaviorally, and it moves to another level. So 504s can be for medical purposes. They could be, or they could be for behavioral purposes, or they could be for academic purposes. Laura Ottmar?
Thank you. I think it might be helpful, just when I was reading that document, it might be helpful to have examples of why a student would be referred, like specific examples of why a student would be referred for SST. Is it specifically academic? Could it be emotional? Could it be, maybe just laying it out a little bit, just giving some examples?
Sure.
Seems really general, and a parent might question, whether or not that would even apply to their student, because they may not think it would apply for their specific circumstance, but giving examples might help with that.
Yeah, I'll just, again, for people that are tuning in after the fact, and for the group that's present, one piece that I didn't add was attendance. So again, it could be really any concern, whether it's generated from the parent's concern about how the student is performing academically at school, or it could be from a behavior standpoint, whether it be a concern over mental health, social, emotionally, supporting the student. Let's just say a student might be crying a lot and we're not exactly sure why. And, maybe something happened, maybe somebody passed away and that hasn't been shared yet. And maybe that student needs support. Sometimes things like that lead to a student being determined that he or she needs a counselor. And it's something that Sonda Fruden, our own counselor, can address. And it's just at a higher level. And that's when we would bring in Monterey Behavioral Health. But the student would have to they would, through the assessment process, be approved to receive that. It could be for their handwriting. It could be for the way that maybe the parents have some concerns about how the development of their body motion for occupational therapy, or through PE. Mrs. Tobin or Mr. D have noticed some issues, and the parent just didn't share that, Maddie had an accident and wasn't wearing a helmet while riding the skateboard. Maybe that's affecting the way they move their body, and the student needs to relearn how to do some things through occupational therapy. It's a host, but I hear what you're saying. I'll see what kind of situations we can put out there, because it's a wide net of why an SST might occur. And but I hear what you're saying, so we'll see. Tally.
Tally, sorry, I thought you said Patty.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of piggyback on what Laura said. I think providing general categories so that a parent can understand when this would apply to them would be important. I think making sure that it comes off as a resource and not a punitive action is also important. And also considering how many things are flooding everyone's inboxes just for themselves, let alone each child they then have. I think it's really important that the teaser text, the abstract that would get someone to read this document, hits those 2 points about like, who is this for? Like, and that this is one more resource that this great Blue Ribbon School has for its students, so that a parent is then compelled to click on that link and read the whole document. Thank you.
No, it's a good point, Sally. Thank you. And again, anybody watching this video later, an SST process, a 504 plan, or an IEP, never, ever are they punitive. It has nothing to do with that at all. It's all about finding supports for children that need them and making sure that the school is providing that student with the support that she or he needs. Go ahead, Patty.
I was wondering, can a parent request an SST meeting?
Absolutely.
And maybe that can be added to that one that says like who refers my child, but also knowing that a parent could request it. I didn't see that it's in there.
Yeah. And why we wanted to do this too is, unfortunately, in the past, there's a process that we want to try to take. We want to have a parent reach out to a teacher or any other staff member, if depending on what the concern might be, but to reach out. So we can try to take some action on our end. And if those actions aren't helping, then to hold an SST for that purpose or purposes. What was occurring at our school and at Forest Grove, what we were finding out is that the concern would be brought up, and then there would be a request for assessment. And that's a huge jump. And so many things should really be looked at before that jump is taken. We want to see if there are general classroom things that can be done at what we call a tier 1 level in order to help any student. And if those things can be implemented and help that student, then perfect. That's all that needs to be done. Because the more assessments that occur, in actuality, the less support that can occur for students that really need them, if that makes sense. So academically, Lauren Davis is our resource teacher at this school. Also, we have a half-time teacher, Emily McCanny, who unfortunately will be leaving us in December. So those two ladies try to help kids academically with math, writing, or reading concerns. The more that they have to assess, the more time is taken away from kids that currently have an IEP for academics. So we're just trying to really get the word out that we want to slow down this process. We don't want to jump to conclusions, but we want to make sure we're doing the right things for kids. Okay. All right, are there any other questions about the SST process? And thank you so much for everyone that's here for giving your advice. Any more? Okay, awesome. All right, again, I know that everyone here is basically providing some kind of support at the site council level. Is there anyone present in the meeting today who's willing to take on the site council survey and do some things offline?
I actually have some more questions about that.
Sure.
What exactly is a survey attempting to measure or get information about?
Well, it's really to give this group, the site council, feedback for decision making.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the #1 role. The California Healthy Kids Survey, those results, we hope will help drive the site council into what we should do the following year. So when we looked at the data and the responses from the past, it was discussed last year and the concerns were raised about cultural awareness. There were concerns raised about bullying and trying to think of any other hot topics. I would say those were the two main things. And that's why this year we had last week's assembly for the Morris brothers. That's why we implemented stop, walk, talk. And also from this group, it wasn't so much from the survey, but from the site council discussing the need to get more information about food allergy out there and about food allergy awareness. That's why we had the speaker, Kyle Dine, Kyle 9. I'm trying to help me, Laura, his last name. Is it Dine or 9? Kyle
Dine.
Kyle Dine, sorry. That's why we had him toward the beginning of the year, because we wanted to talk about that, plus his piece about, teasing kids or being a bully about what they are or are not able to eat as well, because that have that double piece. So that all those decisions to bring those speakers and assemblies here this year had everything to do with site council decisions. And again, we just want to get the voices are mostly heard through surveys when it comes to site council, because as you're seeing, there's 7 of us here today. And if we really want to get the feedback like they do at the board level, you have people coming to the podium, you have people tuning in, and they're providing feedback to the board. That's what they seek. And that's what we seek too, as a site council. We want people to come to our meetings, at least for the first couple minutes, and let us know, hey, this is something that I would like the site council to work on this year. This is something I'm concerned about. So anybody watching this video, if you have something, send one of us an email, send me an email, come to the beginning and have a public comment. So it's on record, and it's something that we will definitely address. But if there is nobody present on today, it's something that we will keep bringing up. And I'm sure it's something that myself and Principal Preciado over at Forest Grove can work on as well together. But again, I'm just trying to make it very clear to everybody that I don't want to be seen as somebody who's hoarding all the responsibility, trying to take that responsibility and voice away from people. I want to hear, the voice from all aspects of parents and community members of Robert Down. Go ahead, Laura.
So I know that when we talked about the survey last year, it was really to kind of get a pulse of what was happening in the classrooms to see if kind of the interventions that we were attempting as a site council were effective. I think that is really important to kind of find out at different points during the year, real time, what's happening. So I'm happy to work on a survey just by it could be as simple as taking some of the questions from the Healthy Kids surveys that were most concerning, and maybe administering those throughout the year, just to, in class, just something like that, so we can at least get an idea of it. I'm glad to do it. I'd love to have help, so I don't want it to be really one-sided either,
Yeah.
But I'm definitely willing.
Thank you. And what she said to real time is important, because with our survey, it more than likely will be a Google form, and we'll get those results instantaneously. The Healthy Kids survey, they take in November, and we don't get back those results until possibly March or April. So that's just something to think about. Go ahead. I think, Eric, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I was going to offer to help Laura on this also.
I will definitely find out if there are any parents that have signed up through Forest Grove, and if we can have the exact same surveys go to both campuses. I think that will be really dynamic to both site councils in providing very similar feedback in trying to help us, move forward as campuses. So thank you very much to both of you for offering to do that. And I will help on my end as much as possible. Okay. Oh, I actually put something in there that I didn't need to. I put the elections of the site council as number 8 in the agenda. So that could be taken out, Eric, when you go over I think I need to give you editing rights to this document also.
I already took it out. I have a Word document. I'm offline.
Perfect. Okay. So there are no other agenda items for today, unless there's something for the good of the order that any member today would like to discuss.
Actually, I was just wondering the status on the Jungle Gym. It looks like it's built. When are we going to get to play?
Wow. So I will try to answer the question as best I can. So the good thing is, from the last time where it wasn't built and to today where it's almost done, and we're just chomping at the bit to get through that gate. They're in phase 2 currently right now. So phase 1 finished up, I want to say 2 weeks ago. And last week, the phase 2 team just brought another little cat mobile and put it on campus. Today, they were out there working. What they need to do from this point on is to grade the area, remove quite a bit of the sand, and they need to take over by the fence and behind where the baseball area is, there's going to be kind of a level, if you remember Tammy talking about that little artificial grass area. There's going to be just a little itty bitty hill. I think they're going to make that a little bit more of an angle. And once they have that down, they're going to compact everything and remove the sand that's unneeded, and then cover it and put in DG or decomposed granite pathway that goes from the blacktop to the back of the baseball stands. That will provide better wheelchair access to the field. And yeah, I'm hoping that they'll be done fairly soon. I think it would be great if they had it done before the Butterfly Bazaar, because that'll be kind of nice for people to be able to play on that during the Butterfly Bazaar. I'll just say I really like the school color scheme that's there with the white and the red. That's what I was hoping for, and I think they really, they nailed it with that. But after that, once that's all done, they need to put wood chips in, so it will no longer be sand. I know that we talked about the possibility of having a smaller sand pit. When I talked to John Anderson, he said that was not in the plans. So that may have been pulled because it was an additional cost. But I'll have to talk to him, or Josh Jorn is our new assistant superintendent. So I'll have to talk to both of those guys to find out why the little sand pit that was supposed to be behind the benches and before that wall, I'll just have to ask. John Anderson also told me that retaining wall of that wood that's honestly kind of breaking apart isn't coming down. And that his plans, if he had the money, if the money is available, he wants to replace that with the blocks that you see at Home Depot or Lowe's that make retaining walls. He doesn't like having the wood there. And I understand that because the wood is currently splitting. So at least the tops of that piece of that entire wall have to be replaced. And I don't know if that's phase 2. I don't know whose responsibility that is. If it's the site's responsibility, I have to work with John. So it'll be a while, because I don't see them installing that artificial turf and the granite pathway quickly. But who knows? I mean, they have a team here, they're working, and that's at least good to see. So I hope within the next few weeks, but we'll see. I will mention this. Thank you, Eric, for helping with the garden. And I think the crew that was there that day, we realized that we need to move the soil from the last garden bed into all the new garden beds, because I want to say it's the 7th garden bed. It's just too close to the butterfly sanctuary that's in there. So we are going to donate the very last garden bed to Forest Grove. And I went over to Forest Grove last week and talked to Principal Preciado, and they have a really nice outdoor area. They may have to readjust some things to make it fit, but they haven't. It'll be really easy for them to accept, take off the trailer, and work with on their campus. So just know that the work that this site council did is helping out our sister school at Forest Grove, and they're really appreciative of us giving them that garden bed. So just so everybody understands why not all the garden beds are being placed here at Robert Down. I think it'll open up the garden a little bit too.
It'll definitely make it easier to walk around.
Yeah.
They're moving it on their own also, right?
Our maintenance, yeah. I will not be asking you to do any more. Yeah, that's a lot of, trust me. Oh boy, our backs, I don't know how your back feels, but oh, it's still kind of stretching on that one. But luckily that's over. So just a little bit of dirt moving, and we might have one more day, or Carrie Gaylor may ask for some middle school or high school help from kids to get all that soil moved over to the new bed. So kids are enjoying it. They were out there last week. It was great to see the kids doing their thing. And I think we just need to have a couple water things fixed, and then we're good to go. And I've got people on it, so they're gonna help out and get those fixed. Are there any other topics that the site council would like to discuss tonight? Okay. Here's some future agenda items. Please let me know if you'd like to add any other items for next time. I do have one to add. We have the daily SEL pledge to be kind, some kind of affirmation to be respectful and safe. An update on the cafeteria sustainability program, basically the Garden Rangers. The possibility of having a mural on campus made out of non-recyclable items. An Earth Day celebration, maybe a concert or assembly, the possibility of having that. We already took care of the elections, so that can be taken off the future agenda items. And assessment results, to really go over those, to dive deep, to see if there's any questions that we have. And then the next thing to add is the safety plan for Robert Down. So we definitely will dive into that next time. Are there any other future agenda items you'd like to add to this list? Okay. All right. Well, for our co-chairs, I expect you to go back and watch this video time and time again to understand all the lingo. I kid. But if I can have one of you go ahead and order for the adjournment. So just get a motion, get a second, ask if there's any discussion, and then take a vote to adjourn the meeting. Who would like to do that?
I can do that. Any further discussion, or this meeting is adjourned?
Well, hold on. So again, you ask for a motion.
Oh, okay. Motion to adjourn.
I second that motion.
And they say all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Any opposed?
Any opposed?
And there's none.
No.
And then
All right.
you need to give the exact time of adjournment.
So meeting is adjourned at 4:45 p.m.
Got it. We did it.
All right, good job, everybody.
On to the butterfly bazaar meeting. All right.
Yeah. Have fun.
Bye.
Thank you
Bye.
so much, everyone. We'll see you next time.
All right. Good night.
October 17th.